is that being a child star. Like I know Mickey Rooney, and Mickey always says the same things. It's a really fucked up life, and because you don't have a life with adults, your life with children, your life is with adults. And when Judy was fired by the studio, it freaked her out. She thought her career was over. They thought she was done with movies, so they just canned her. And Sid Love said, "Screw this crap." And he reopened the Palace in New York and put her in there. And then their whole music career was started off. Liza is very much her mother's daughter. She's that alive on stage as Judy. She has the audience in the palm of her hand like Judy. She is the consummate entertainer. Because Judy was a consummate entertainer.
Wow.
Judy was very neurotic and had a lot of problems, especially drug issues, But Liza's issue is that she likes to marry gay guys. So put it all together, it's spelled I don't know what.
This is like Christmas for me. I'm loving these stories. I love this. Tell me, I got another rumor for you, Shelly. Is there a story about Ella Fitzgerald getting arrested and getting out of it?
Oh, yeah. She was represented by Norman Granz. And Norman was a wonderful guy who believed in talent. But he had this thing that he never would sit still for anybody, treating his black talent any different than white talent. This was, in the 50s and 60s. And Ella was booked into a place in Texas. And Norman went in ahead of time and lectured everybody in town, the police department, the theater people, the hotel people, that you have to treat everybody the same way. And with all lectures, he pissed off on the local sheriffs. So the sheriff broke into Ella's dressing room. And Dizzy Gillespie and Eleanor Duquette were shooting craps and smoking pot. Oh. And Ella was just sitting at her dressing table putting on her makeup. So they arrested the three of them. Oh. So when they get down to the jail, they're all behind bars in a little local jail. And this one deputy sheriff looks into her and he says, "Ain't you that singer, Ella Fitzgerald?" She says, "Yes, I am." He says, "My wife loves you. Can I get an autograph?" She says, "Listen, honey, we'll give you autograph pictures of as many as you want if you just let us the hell out of here." And they did.
Oh, yes.
Oh, wow. That's a great story. I love it.
I'll tell you another Ella story that nobody really knows.
Oh.
And that is Marilyn Monroe, when she was doing her first musical for the studios, was given a stack of Ella Fitzgerald records to learn how to sing. Listen to these and you'll learn how to sing, was what she was told. So she went to the owner, a couple of years later, she went to the owner of the Macombo here in Los Angeles. She says, "Why do you have a book Ella Fitzgerald?" And the guy says, "We don't book black acts." So she said, "I tell you what, if you're booking Ella, I'll be ringside every night. And you can advertise it." And the owner of Macombo says, "You're kidding me." She said, "No." So they booked in Ella. And after that, Ella and Marilyn became closest of friends.
Wow.
And the topper was, Norman Mailer was writing Death of the Salesman. And he used to run his pages past Ella to read and get her feedback.
Wow, that I just love how they tell Marilyn Monroe, listen to these Ella records, you can learn how to sing.
Right.
Well, in those days, here, learn this, you can learn how to sing. Just listen to her and how she sings, Yeah, right. Listen to Ella and you're going to learn. You can't sing like her, but you can pick some things up.
How great was it with Frank, though? When you saw Frank and Dean and Sammy and all them, they have you the best.
The three of them together on stage had such magic because they loved one another.
Yeah.
And nothing was rehearsed, and they just wanted to crack each other up. And, they were supposed to be on stage for an hour. Sometimes it'd be 4 hours later, they were still on stage, That's what it was when they were in Vegas, and they owned the town. I remember we walked through the casino at the Sands one night, and as we were walking through, this guy grabbed Sinatra by the arm and asked him for an autograph because he grabbed Sinatra by the arm. Sinatra punched the guy in the mouth. And started to walk away, and the guy went to go after Sinatra, and two of Frank's bodyguards grabbed the guy, did not try to beat the crap out of him. Frank humped the guy's room later on and everything else, but,
the comp after the beating is the classiest.
Shelly, one day I hope I am famous enough that I could beat the crap out of someone and comp their room.
Right.
nowadays they'd sue you. It's a whole different world.
Yeah, I'd have to find a midget to beat up anyways, because I got no shot against anyone my size.
Peter Dinklage.
Midgets. I used to date a midget girl. I was nuts over her.
Come on.
Shelly, for real? Or he's telling a joke right now.
That was a joke in case you didn't get it. You know?
Wait, Shelly, was that the joke? You were nuts over her? Oh, man.
It's going to be a tough room, huh?
Shelly has his Facebook's full. He's booked to the brim. You can't add him.
I saw that actually.
People are jealous that I'm his friend, and I'll tell you something that I make people jealous of. Shelly tells the funniest fucking jokes on the Facebook, and he plays great videos that you wouldn't be thinking of off the top of your head from YouTube. You have one of the best Facebook pages out there, Shelly. I love following you.
Thank you. I get a lot of people asking me about different songs, so I'll post the songs. Or about different things, but then and photos of different people that I have in my private collection. But then I just can't let it be too sane, so I have to post some ridiculous jokes.
I mean, and it's just your wide variety of stuff you post too. Like today, I'm looking at right now. You had David Bowie Heroes, which is great, and it just shows that Shelly's variety of taste is just. It's great. He's got Marvin Gaye on here. Let's get it on live.
Well, most of it is people I worked with or friends with or whatever. So with Bowie or the Stones. I went on the Steel Wheels tour for 4 weeks in Europe with the Rolling Stones, and finally I decided if I did not get away from them, I was going to die.
That's great. I wanted to.
You know what they were doing? You know what they did? We had the big 4-engine prop plane with the big lips on the side. And we'd pick up a bunch of girls in England, fly them to France, they'd screw them on the plane, and then leave them in France and give them after I would go home, and pick up girls in France and take them to Italy, That's what we were going through Europe. That and refueling on fuel and drugs,
So how is it Hugh Hefner has a show, you don't have a show?
Yeah, really?
Hefner's a wonderful guy.
But Shelly, I see women hitting on you on Facebook still all the time.
Right.
You are
well, there's something about brain damage,
How great's that story?
It's a sexy disease.
Shelly, is there anyone out there today, mainstream artist-wise, that you're into? Is there any type of music, any type of artist you're really?
You know what? I'm kind of disturbed on how we get into this. Okay, the music business, the entertainment business has been corrupted by television. These kids think right now they can get a little program for their computer and they can become a star because they can just record something.
Hey, that's what we're.
American Idol feeds into that. What years ago, the reason you got great quality entertainers is because they had to go out and pay their dues and learn to be good, learn how to work in front of an audience, learn how to fine-tune their craft. When I worked at labels going back to the days of roulette, we had artist development. We taught people. Now they don't do any of that anymore.
Yeah.
So you don't get people who have the opportunity to grow. And also, you have a group of companies that control. Also, you have basically a group of companies owned by the major labels that control radio. So I always say if rock and roll started today, we'd never make it on radio. Because through independent labels, the majors would never touch it.
Well, I'm curious, Shelly, if you think it's like a bygone era where someone like Sammy Davis Jr., who was not only singing and dancing, but also doing several other things extraordinarily well, is that whole culture of somebody who's incredibly talented at 9 things starting to go by the wayside, or has it already gone by the wayside? Because Michael Jackson, he was singing and dancing at the same time really well, but he wasn't also playing the piano and doing an impersonation of Billy Joel.
I think that it is possible, but it's not likely to see more people like that. Understand, Sammy started when he was 5 years old,
Right.
And Sammy could sing, dance, act, tell jokes, do impressions, play a few musical instruments,
I love the movie Tap. You ever seen that movie, Shelly?
Yeah.
With Sammy Davis Jr. and Sandman and Greg Hines. Greg Hines, when we lost him, that was rough on me. And I mean, I was
he
really...
was a nice guy. Greg was a nice guy.
Yeah.
Like, he's the best.
He's great.
Yeah. Oh, that's so you knew Gregory Hines.
Well, I because of my association with Sammy, I ran into a lot of people, and sometimes we'd meet a lot of people together or go someplace. You know, I used to take Sammy up to do Playboy After Dark, and that's where I met Hugh Hefner the first time. When Hefner had the TV show Playboy After Dark, you know.
Are you in?
But I brought a few people up there. Yeah, I brought Harry Nilsson up to Playboy After Dark. You know, and a few other people.
So but you brought up Hugh. Do you guys still talk at all?
Rare occasion, you know. I wish him congratulations on him.
Yeah.
His impending marriage, and I asked him to please don't hurt her on the honeymoon, you know. But basically back to the old Groucho Marx line, you know, having sex at 90 is like shooting pool with a rope. You know?
Katie Rose.
Katie Rose out.
The slippery.
And I told Hefner, I said, put down a Viagra and pick up a can of spray starch. You're going to hurt yourself with the Viagra.
I love it. What are your thoughts though on the rap genre?